Hi and welcome back to the AQA GCSE History Conflict and Tension in Asia of 1950 to 1975 revision series. This is episode 2 and we're looking at the development of the Korean War. 18 countries provided troops for the UN forces in Korea, but most of the troops were American. The UN force landed at Incheon, which was near the 38th parallel. At the same time, South Korea fought its advances from Busan. Within weeks, the UN forces had taken control of territory all the way to the 38th parallel, which meant that they had met their objective of removing communism in South Korea. However, the UN forces carried on fighting and started to take territory in North Korea. The UN approved a plan to continue the attack in North Korea. China's leader Mao Zedong warned the UN that China would get involved if the invasion continued. This warning was ignored, and by October, US forces were at the Yulao River, which was on the border with China. In October of 1950, 200,000 Chinese troops joined the war and launched a very successful attack. The Chinese troops were committed to communism and had been taught to hate Americans. They were also supplied with modern tanks and planes by the USSR. By January of 1951, the UN forces were driven to Seoul, the capital of South Korea. A few weeks later, after bitter fighting, the US forces pushed the Chinese back to the 38th parallel. The war had become a stalemate. President Truman felt that the US forces had achieved enough by freeing South Korea of communism. He also worried about the threat of the USSR joining the war. The UN wanted to stop the attack and agreed to keep the division of North and South Korea. However, General MacArthur wanted to attack China directly. He even considered using nuclear weapons to defeat China. In March of 1951, MacArthur blatantly ignored the instructions of the UN and his president and openly threatened to attack China. In April of 1951, Truman removed MacArthur from his position and brought him back to the United States. Truman also made it clear that the policy of the USA was containment, stopping the spread of communism, not attacking the countries which were already communist. So that's the end of episode 2 of the AQA GCSE History Conflict and Tension in Asia of 1950 to 1975 revision series. Next episode, we're looking at the ending of the Korean War. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.